Hello boys and girls, it's me. And before I start doing what I'm going to do today, first of all, if you saw my last video and you went over to the NJRC website, I'd ask you to do that. I had a link there to subscribe to the New Jersey Antique Radio Club's YouTube channel for basically trying to get 1,000 subscribers together so we can do live feeds of our meetings. For the people that can't get there or are out of state or out of country or whatever. And as I looked this morning, I think we were up to like 667, but it's significantly better because we were only at 360 before I made the video. And I appreciate each and every one of you for going out of your way and telling your friends, but we still we're like about halfway to get to 1,000. So if you could pass the word along, I realize this is kind of a narrow channel to respect that we only talk about and do repairs on old radios and go to car shows and things like that, and that is kind of a narrow base. However, some people might actually like it, so it's okay. It's kind of like playing a round of golf or drinking dark beer. It's an acquired taste, let's put it to you that way. So today what I'm going to do is that I have a friend with a Grundig radio that came literally from Germany. And a bunch of work had been done to it and got a different transformer in there, and it didn't work when I got the radio and I repaired it, but there's something else I want to do to the radio, and let me show you what that is. And here's the radio. This is a Grundig. I don't know specifically what year. I would guess 50, somewhere in there, because I'm not a German radio aficionado by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a Grundig. It's a model 997. And I love that V. That's just screaming 50s. You know, remember how many cars used to have the V8 logos on them? And Chevy had something that was similar to that. That used to be a Fender V that went on a whole bunch of different cars, you know, full-size cars and Chevelles and Corvettes and things like that. That's really an Art Deco looking thing for the model number. And oh, look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't met Berwin is a little bit of a camera hog. So let me get him off the bench and just keep going. Okay. All right, Berwin has since left the room. He just wanted to come over and visit. I guess he got a little bit lonely. That's okay. That's what cats do. So anyway, getting back to the radio, this radio is kind of unusual. For one thing, I don't know how else it's going to show up. But if you look at this UKW thing, I guess that's the FM. That's the high end of the dial right there, and it only goes up to 100 megacycles, which is kind of really not much of the FM band spread. Although I know that some of the German radios only went up to 104 megacycles, whereas of course the Americans go up to 108. Over here, you could see, normally there's like an eye-tube in here that shutters, you can show the signal, but it's just non-existent. All you've got is just part of a knob there, I guess, just shining through the window. There's no tone control on the radio itself. You just have two buttons for, I guess in German this is voice. You push that in for voice and music. So these are just a couple little tone controls here. And then of course, you know, here's your tuning, and then there's a dial light behind here. And also sometimes, let me back it off here, you would have two tuning dials. This would tune one band and this would tune another band, but that's not the case. This is all on one. And this is a 3-band radio. It has long wave, medium wave, which is the broadcast band, and then over here it says the letters UKW, which is FM. I guess that might just stand for ultra kilowatt or frequency or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't a German person or took German in high school. My sister was the German, learned German in school, and she went to Germany. So this radio is basically kind of like, I can't really say it was probably a low-end radio for you car guys out there or car ladies out there. This is like the equivalent of a Chevy Biscayne. It just was kind of a bare bones and not a lot going on. Now here's the back of the radio, as you can see here. As some of you may already know, with the German sets, usually you have tubes that did 2, 3, 4, 5 functions. There's only but 5 tubes in the radio. There's tube here, one here, 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 and here. Just those 5 tubes. So it's like a German AA5, if there's such a thing. I don't know. This is not the original transformer. I guess you can see that it's mounted upside down. I guess it could be mounted one of 2 ways. And it's a triad transformer. I can't get the camera to, I don't know if you could see that or pick that up. Okay. Actually, it's upside down. Forget, I can't even gonna do it, but it's an American transformer. And what was wrong with the radio was back here, someone added a full wave rectifier using 4. Let me see if I can pull this out of the way. You can see a little bit better. A little bit toughed in there, but used 414,006 diodes, I guess. And you can see, let me go back over here for a second. You see that behind one of these wires on the bottom, there's a terminal strip. I don't know how well it's showing up on the camera. But that green thing there is the dropping resistor. And one of the diodes, the 4 individual diodes, was literally within, I'm going to say, a ½ an inch of above the dropping resistor, and that was the problem. Now, why I'm saying that is that dropping resistor will get hot and get warm, and I think the heat got to one of the diodes and it opened, and thus the radio didn't work. So what we're going to do is, one of the things he had asked me about is what would it be like to hook up a turntable onto here. Now, I don't know if these were meant for like a ceramic cartridged record player or whatever. I know that this is the phonograph input here and here. These 2 terminals, I guess this guy's a ground. And I just kind of cobbled together and was able to play my iPod through this. So I think what I'm going to do is, or what I'm going to do as a surprise for him, is I went to my local kind of sort of Radio Shack kind of store and got 2 banana plugs. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those 2 banana plugs and then make an adapter so we could use an RCA female on here. And then that way the phonograph, a modern phonograph, I don't know how well it's going to work, but you can at least try it. So you'll have these 2 banana plugs, you can plug it in with this and then use this RCA female to take his phonograph and put it on there. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay, here's the back of the radio, and I've installed the 2 banana plugs into the chassis as such without the covers on them. The only reason I did that is because I was taking some dimensions and trying to make things jive out in my head. So what I'm going to do is I've taken some perf board that I had, and I cut a piece about 1.5 inches wide here, and I guess I could probably make it about, I'll take a dimension, it'll probably be like about 2.5, 3 inches or so. And my thoughts is that since this is the back of the radio here, I don't want these things to be sticking out too far. So what I was thinking of doing is that instead of having, what I was going to do is make a small enclosure out of the perf board, and instead of having the RCA female coming out the back like this, because I'm thinking it may be sticking out too far, and then by the time you put the male RCA from the phonograph or MP3 player or whatever in here, it's kind of getting away. So I was thinking actually making it on top like this. And I think that would probably be nicer and a little more thought out in that respect. So I think that's the way I'm going to go about it. Okay, my perf board that I was using for this was about 6 inches wide. So what I did was I cut, as you can see here, 4 pieces. I cut initially 2 slots. I have a little jigsaw, and I cut it on that, and basically took 2 6-inch wide strips that were approximately about 1.5 inches wide. And I cut them in half, so these are now 3 inches. That might be a little bit big, but you notice on this one too, I've already marked a couple spots I'm going to drill out, and they're about 3/4 inch apart. And that idea is to get, let me get the camera adjusted so you can see. These are going to be the hole centers to put on here, like so. And then what I was thinking was I was going to take the original covers that thread on here, and I'll use that to actually hold the board on there, and then whatever is too long on here, I'll just cut that off so they don't stick out real far. So, and then once I get that all in place, I kind of sort of have these things ready to make a little box. I have a feeling it might be a little bit tall, but that's okay. I could just cut a little bit off the top, and then the RCA plug will just kind of go on top, something like this, on top of the box, and then it'll just be a thing where you can just plug the whole thing in, and then you're good to go. Alright, so this is what it looks like so far. I started to glue this guy together, and I just have the copper wire in place just to kind of help hold it together until the glue dries. Okay, so then the idea is then you just have this box, and then you can just go in here and plug it into the back of the radio, and there you go. So now this is going to be the piece for the top, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the RCA female and make a hole so I can get the terminals through there and the top, screw this in place, and then I can basically wire this guy in. Let's get a better angle there. I can wire this guy in before I basically take this thing and then completely enclose it like that. So it's going to just be like a little box, and that should do the trick. I think it'll be kind of cool. So let me get started on that. Alrighty, I've put the back on the back of the radio, and here's our finished product. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but here we can just plug this in here, like so, and you just put our RCA male from the turntable or MP3 player or whatever in there, and turn the radio on. We're good to go.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You stupid dick.
Okay, so here's the finished product. I put it back on. It's all tested and ready to go. It took me, I don't know, 4.5 hours to do. It was a pretty simple little project, so obviously I can do it. You could probably do it too. So a little happy with the way that came out. I wanted to give a quick shout out to my friends over at Grundig Electronics. These guys have been great. I've been using them for a lot of years, and they've actually kind of picked up the ball for me, whereas Radio Shack was the last bastion of finding little parts and connectors and things like that. And these people are great. They've been around here a long time. They used to be in Greenbrook, New Jersey. Now they're in North Plainfield. So I spoke to the owner of the company the other day, and he would do some promotion in my Radio Wild channel, and I told him that I would promote his store. And it's a great store. If you're in the central New Jersey area, just stop by and walk through there, and who knows, maybe you'll pick up a pile of things to bring home with you. And they even have old radios inside that are looking for new homes. So they're unrestored and ripe and ready for your work. They also can be found on Instagram, Greenbrook Electronics. So if you get a chance to come this way, check them out. Okay, boys and girls, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you haven't done so yet, or maybe you could spread the word and do our best to get 1,000 subs for the NJARC YouTube page. I'll have the link again on this video, so if you haven't done so yet, or if you can pass it along to some friends, if you're hams, I know that they have a special event station going on at InfoEdge today for the Marconi birthday celebration. So anyway, thanks again, and thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.